everything comes down to this game against the Rams, their biggest rival. And it's not just their playoff hopes, but I feel like a lot more is at stake for the 49ers than the Rams. What do you think's at stake for the Niners in this game?
I think there's a lot at stake for the 49ers, pride being number one. I mean, we don't know. The thing is, like, the 49ers can go 4-0 now, 5-0, including the Bears game, and they still have a 41% chance to not make the playoffs. So, playoffs aren't necessarily on the line, although the hope of playoffs is certainly there. But I think pride is on the line for a lot of these players. A lot of these guys are going to be free agents. A lot of these guys might get cut. Who knows what the roster is going to look like next year? And to me, like, this is the last hurrah from this group of players, like this core cast, because some of them might not be there. But I want to look even further than that. If they go 0-2 versus the Rams, which, I mean, has that happened since McVay and Shanahan have been there? Maybe in 17, I'm not remembering. But usually the 49ers dominate in the regular season. This could signify the changing of the guard and who is the dominant team between these two, because this is a very, very different Rams team than what the 49ers are used to. This is a whole revamped, very young Rams team that we're looking at right now. Yes, Matthew Stafford is aging. He's always a question mark. Cooper Kupp is older, but you look at the rest of this team, man, there's a lot of young players. Their offensive line is young. Their defense as a whole is young. They've got Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum. I mean, this is not the same Rams team. They've revamped this thing very, very quickly over the last 3 years. And so now you've got a new cast of characters that are looking at the 49ers like, they don't own us. We own them. Like, I don't care what you were before we were in this uniform. So to me, this also is like a supremacy thing for the next couple years potentially. They've got to strike a little bit of fear in the hearts of the Rams and these younger, newer players and let them know, hey, listen, we dominate this rivalry. Let's not get it twisted. Yeah, we're having a down year, but we're coming for you next year. If they lose or get blown out, I think that could be really bad for future games.
Yeah, and I think you look, whether you think Kyle Shanahan should be fired or whatever, all we know is before the Bears game, Mike Florio was talking about him getting traded to Chicago. And then after beating the Bears, he answered a question about the rumors, and he said his family really wants to stay here. I don't know how real it is. No one has been talking to the Yorks or knows what they think. All I know is after their second humiliating defeat on the road, the one in Buffalo, Jed was in the locker room. Jed was outside the locker room, shaking players' hands. So maybe just his presence alone, maybe he said something to Kyle. I don't know, but I feel like ever since that moment, Kyle's been a little different. He's been a little bit more. I mean, he hasn't had one snarky answer for me, and he used to have them every day. He's been taking all the suggestions everyone ever gave him. It seems like this is, I don't know, a humbled Kyle Shanahan. And if he beats the Rams, man, he's back in the driver's seat. But if he gets blown out by the Rams, then that's 3 blowouts in 4 games. And the one time you didn't get blown out, you played the Bears, and that's going to look kind of like a fraudulent win because they've lost 7 in a row. So I don't know. I don't know what Jed's thinking or what his parents are thinking, but if Kyle gets blown out in this game, I don't know, man. I think he could be once again back in a precarious spot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I noticed it in his demeanor after the Bills game. I brought it to your attention on the show. I had talked about it on my own as well, but there was something different about his demeanor. And to me, like, beating the Bears is great, but you got to kind of prove it again. And you also have to start to wonder, why is it that every time the 49ers are on this bit of a losing streak, they start 3-5, they start 2-4 this year, like, one of the owners has to show up and kind of make his presence known, and then Kyle's like, "All right, I'll turn it up a little bit. I guess we'll amp things up." And then they go on a winning streak. It happened already this year from York's dad. He showed up already, did he not? When they were after they had lost to the Chiefs. Am I mistaken about that?
No, you're correct.
Yeah. So then what? They went on a 2-game winning streak, and then things are good. Then they lose a couple more in sad fashion. And then all of a sudden, Jed's there, and we win a game again. You got to start to wonder, like, why does it take that for you to get back in the saddle and ready to go. I don't that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You should be able to motivate this team and motivate yourself without having the presence of ownership around to kind of turn up the heat, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know what Jed York said. Maybe he didn't have to say anything, but when the owner is there in the locker room after that loss, I think the message is, "Dude, what's going on?" And so you saw Kyle Shanahan, he was calling play action, he was calling screens, he was really freaking good, featuring George Kittle after not getting
Yeah.
him the ball. All that's really good. And if he continues to coach if he coaches pretty much exactly like he did against the Rams in terms of how he uses his offense, he'll he'll give the Niners a pretty good chance to win this game. But we've also seen games like the Super Bowl where it's all about Debo Samuel.